Hey everyone, my name is Ben Chaish, and today we are checking out this super cool lens from Voigtlander. It is the new 50mm f1.5 Heliar Classic. Now this is definitely a kind of special lens within the Voigtlander line. It's definitely not something that I personally would have normally gone for, but a huge shout out to the good people at CameraQuest for allowing me to take this on loan for a little bit to kind of check out and make a review on. I don't get to keep the lens, I have to send it back, all that kind of stuff, but it's definitely an intriguing lens and something that's a little bit outside of my normal wheelhouse. And so I figured, you know, getting some interesting information and firsthand experience with it would be a pretty cool thing for me. So what you have is obviously a very vintage designed, vintage styled lens. It definitely is compact. It passes my Leica balance test. So, definitely in those terms and like as a walk around lens, it is a fantastic performer. And, you know, you can kind of see here where it has this kind of like slight bulge here where the focusing ring is. It reminds me of just a bunch of vintage glass that I've used, but obviously it is a brand new lens. It's also a single coated lens, so you're gonna get more flaring, more ghosting, more of that kind of stuff. But this lens is definitely not something that you are going to want to get if you are looking for perfection. This is a lens that you're gonna pick up if you just want that kind of like soft, focusy, dreamy, vintage kind of look. For me, this lens gives that really, again, dreamy, soft focus kind of feel. And personally, as I was photographing with it and then I was going back and editing the images, the thing that I really loved out of this lens was dumping all of the photos as black and white images and kind of just using this as sort of like a digital Leica M3 of sorts. I feel like I could go out anytime and just know that I'm putting this in black and white, maybe even setting my camera to black and whites, and using this in those settings. That way some of that color fringing and those other issues, I guess, are just gone. And then you're just getting really, really beautiful, super soft rendering. The corners are just this, I guess, that Leica glow. And while I don't necessarily love the bokeh especially in color, there's so much character to it in black and white. And so I feel like that is where this lens really, really shines, although it still works in color as well. Now, one of the most kind of, I guess, shocking things out of this for me, though, was I took a ton of sample images at 1.5 and then a bunch of other sample images kind of back and forth, back to back at 5.6. And even to the corners, I was shocked at how well this rendered detail and gave you such a cool look. So you could buy this lens easily, use it at 1.5 for portraits and getting that really, really, I don't know, vintagey feel. Then you could stop down to something like 5.6 and get a much more, maybe not modern, but like a rendering that has a ton of sharpness and detail and everything like that in the same lens, which I feel like a lot of lenses that have that kind of vintage feel, a lot of actual vintage lenses have more haze and more issues, and stopping down doesn't always fix all of those things, where on this lens, it definitely does a really, really good job of that. So again, in terms of like build quality, in terms of look, in terms of feel, all that stuff, I think this lens is phenomenal. While I would say that this is kind of a lens that for me reminds me of something like a Noctilux. So maybe, you know, the play here would be that If this isn't going to be your primary lens, maybe you buy the 50 Oppo on one side for like ultimate image quality, and then you buy this one on the other side for that feel and that glow and all that kind of stuff. You can buy that for under $2,000, you know, less than a Summicron, and definitely get a really cool gamut of looks out of the two, depending on what you're looking for. So as I currently have 4 different 50mm lenses for the Leica M mount system in my possession, I thought it'd be kind of an interesting little test of sorts to check out and compare the 4 together. Now, the 4 different versions are obviously the Voigtlander Heliar 50 1.5, the Leica Summilux f1.4 spherical, the TT Artisan 50 1.4, as well as the TT Artisan 0.95. So I'm gonna roll these images kind of through and, you know, maybe do a quick little guess of which lens is which, and then we'll see kind of where we landed and if you got all 4 of them correct. So you can see here on this image, you know, there's just a ton of character and stuff going on. And then when we zoom in, we see that for something like a portrait or something that you don't necessarily want every pore or every little blemish or whatever to be coming through, something like this, you know, could be pretty cool. They definitely tried to make this specifically to be like that. I'm using like coma and spherical aberrations, and it just kind of produces a really, really classic and something that would be very, very, I guess, impossible to get with most kind of modern lenses the way they are. The lens is actually sharp around f4, which is exactly what my kind of testing has started to look like. I've been shooting it at 5.6 and everything is absolutely fantastic. And then obviously, if you're kind of going in that range, something like f1.5 is going to give you a really, really, you know, dreamy kind of look. And then something like f2 is going to give you a little bit more sharpness while still giving you that really good bokeh. You know, there's a 10-bladed aperture, so you're going to get smooth stuff as it stops down. But you know, it's a old style lens with a single coating. You have 6 elements in 3 groups instead of all these like 12 elements in 10 groups with the spherical elements and low dispersion, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just a very, very different style of lens that's going to clearly give you a very, very different rendering than your typical modern lens. And if you're interested in a bunch of other Leica content, I think this is like the 4th or 5th at least 50mm video just for the Leica system. Subscribing to this channel and even going back and checking out some of the older videos would probably be a great idea. So thanks again, and I will see you on the next one.